This is war, and we have to fight that war and win it. We have to destroy the Hamas war machine.
That was Israel Ambassador Michael Herzog today on Face the Nation. The Israeli government has formally declared war on Hamas. This after a devastating surprise attack killed hundreds of civilians and members of the military. The Israeli Rescue Service says at least 260 bodies were removed from a music festival that came under attack. Across the U.S., we continue to see reactions to the deadly violence in Israel. President Biden spoke with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu this morning to express his sympathy. Christian Benavides reports from Miami.
Families lucky enough to escape the escalating conflict unfolding in Israel landed in California after catching a last-minute flight out of Tel Aviv.
My heart is there. All my family, everybody's there. My cousin's husband just passed away trying to save other people.
In New York City, the lights of the Empire State Building were lit up in the colors of the Israeli flag in solidarity.
We have the largest Jewish population outside of Tel Aviv here in this city, and it's really horrifying to look at some of the images.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken said Americans could be among the casualties and those taken hostage by Hamas.
We've got reports that several Americans are among the dead. We're working very actively to verify those reports. At the same time, there are reports of Americans being taken hostage there, too.
Politically, Republicans continue to attack the Biden administration over the August prisoner swap deal that unfroze $6 billion in Iranian funds, an ally of the Hamas terror group.
To think that they're not moving money around is irresponsible to say that to the American people.
Biden administration officials say those funds have not been used and could only be used for humanitarian purposes. And critics are also questioning how both U.S. and Israeli intelligence could have missed this attack was coming. Christian Benavides, CBS News.
The European Union, along with both the British and Australian prime ministers, are among those worldwide who expressed their solidarity with Israel. Here in Little Rock, Mayor Frank Scott Jr. said in a tweet, quote, "I am saddened and condemn the attack against the state of Israel and its people." He went on to say as a result of the attack that Little Rock police would be increasing its security around synagogues and places of worship across the city.
Now, over the past week, summer and fall have been fighting on who's going to get that grip over Central Arkansas. We've had some days in the 90s this past week, a few days in the 70s. Like today, we peaked in the middle 70s. 76 was the high here in Little Rock. Over the next several days, we're still going to be trying to fight off that warm air. We'll have a few days in the 80s. We'll talk a little bit more about ahead of our next cool down. But at this point in the evening, now that the sun has set, we're seeing most places in the 60s, but already starting to see a few 50-degree readings on the board, even 49 right now in Arkadelphia. A nice difference from in Little Rock, 63 right now. Russellville in the middle 50s at 56 degrees. Now, when you're headed out the door on your Monday morning, we're going to start out in the lower 50s. A nice day for layering. Sunny skies all day. Coming home, though, around that 80-degree mark, so you'll probably want to shed some of those layers. We'll have a check-in about the rest of the week coming up later on in the show, so make sure you stick around.
All right, thanks, Simone. Now, also the rest of this week, we're going to continue to see a lot of those same closures we've been dealing with for months in Little Rock and North Little Rock. Daytime closures on Cypress Street, Broadway, and Locust. There will also be single and double lane closures on I-30 between Roosevelt and I-40. Those projects could be getting a financial boost, though, to help finish up. $785 million of federal funds are coming to the Arkansas Department of Transportation. It'll be used as additional funding for new and existing construction projects all over the state, like plans to widen Cantrell in West Little Rock and improvements to 67 in Cabot. Some cities like Benton are already seeing the impacts, like the repaving of Alcoa, Military, and East Streets.
Benton is unique in the fact that majority of our thoroughfares are state highways. That's going to open up some more commerce for us. That's going to allow some of the businesses on one side of the interstate to be able to have access to.
We have the full list of those road and bridge projects that RDOT will be starting in the next few years on our website right now at chv11.com. Now, it's been 2 months since new gun laws took effect across the state, one of them now being questioned by federal agencies. That law is about medical marijuana patients and concealed carry licenses. THV11's Jalissa Garza explains why the ATF is getting involved.
I'm going to print this form out and show it to you.
Nathan House is the general manager at Arkansas Armory in North Little Rock. He says being a licensed federal firearms dealer, they're impacted by both federal and state law, but one trumps the other.
As a gun dealer, we have to abide by federal law.
The ATF sent a letter to the Arkansas Department of Public Safety this week saying a new Arkansas law creates a public safety concern. Act 757 says a person's status as a medical marijuana patient should not be considered when deciding if they can get a concealed carry license.
Medical marijuana is legal in the state of Arkansas under Arkansas law, but it remains illegal, a Schedule I controlled substance at the federal level.
Right now, House says about 250,000 people have concealed carry licenses in Arkansas. They've been able to use that card as proof they've passed a background check. But the ATF says that's not enough.
The law needs to be repealed until marijuana is removed as a Schedule I drug at the federal level. We can't train people that have a medical marijuana license because we would have to furnish them with gun or ammunition, or at least let them engage in federally prohibited activity on our premises.
But with the ATF concerned, he says this could start a domino effect, impacting anyone who wants a gun.
We're going to get ourselves in a position where the Arkansas concealed handgun license will no longer be usable as an exemption to the background check if the ATF continues down this path.
In North Little Rock, Jalissa Garza, THV 11 News.
The ATF has requested a response to their letter in the next 30 days with answers on how the state can ensure that concealed carry holders are not medical marijuana patients. Meanwhile, across the country, asylum seekers are being bused from southern states to northern cities like New York and Chicago. This weekend, New York's Mayor Eric Adams is wrapping up a tour of Mexico, Ecuador, and Colombia, trying to dissuade people from crossing the border. He says asylum seekers are being fed misinformation that New York has jobs and shelter.
We want every single person who's thinking about risking their lives and their children's lives to come to New York City to know the truth about what we are dealing with.
In Chicago, thousands, including children, are sleeping on the street, inside police stations, or the airport, as that city hurries to build more shelters before winter. More than 450,000 people have walked off their jobs this year. Many who are still striking say they'll keep fighting for higher wages. 75,000 healthcare workers were back at work this weekend after a 3-day strike failed to produce a deal. Auto workers rallied in Chicago as the UAW decided not to expand its walkouts after a concession from General Motors. Ford, meanwhile, announced more strike-related layoffs, now totaling 1,800 employees. This as workers are among the millions of Americans feeling the sting of inflation. And the latest job report shows this week that the market is still going strong. A new report from the Labor Department says that overall, the U.S. economy added 336,000 jobs in September. Numbers for July and August were also revised to be significantly higher. The unemployment rate remained near a historic low of 3.8%. The Federal Reserve, however, may not be celebrating the latest job numbers. The Fed wants economic growth to slow to ease inflation, which could mean another interest rate hike. The Fed makes its next decision in November. Could hurricanes come to Arkansas? We don't really see the impact much here, but a new study suggests that might not be the case forever. After the break, Scott Covert digs into the details and how it could impact your insurance. And tonight, Tales from the Crypt at the Mount Holly Cemetery. A closer look at Arkansas's most entertaining history lesson. But first, Simone, what's the weather looking like tonight?
Well, it's going to be another chilly night. Not quite as chilly as last night, but I'll have those details and a look at the week ahead coming up in your full forecast.